The fatigue incident. On November 23, 2012, Arvind Tandal, a 41-year-old software engineer, loaded his family into their Honda Odyssey minivan after an all-night shopping trip in San Bruno, California. It was 7:45 a.m. Tandal had been awake for over 20 hours, having worked a full day before heading directly to the stores for Black Friday deals. In the van were his wife, his mother, and his 4 daughters. The back of the vehicle was packed with bags containing electronics, toys, and household items purchased at steep discounts. The family had saved over $1,200 on their purchases. Tandal's eyes burned with fatigue as he pulled onto Highway 101 northbound. His wife, sitting in the passenger seat, had fallen asleep almost immediately. The children, too, were quiet in the back, exhausted from the overnight expedition. Traffic was light, and Tandal set the cruise control to 65 miles per hour. Near the 3rd Avenue exit, witnesses reported seeing the minivan suddenly drift to the right without braking. Highway Patrol investigators would later determine that Tandal had momentarily fallen asleep at the wheel. The van struck the guardrail at full speed, then violently careened back across 3 lanes of traffic. The impact deployed the front airbags, but the force of the second collision, when the van struck the concrete center divider, was catastrophic. The vehicle rolled 3 times before coming to rest on its roof. Glass and metal scattered across all lanes of the highway. Inside the crumpled vehicle, the scene was horrific. Cheadle had been partially ejected through the window. The impact had severed her spinal cord at the neck. She died instantly. Nisha, seated directly behind her father, suffered massive head trauma when the roof collapsed. She remained alive but unconscious, blood pooling around her still-fastened seatbelt. First responders worked frantically to extract the family. Tandal, dazed but conscious, kept repeating, "My children, my children." He watched helplessly as paramedics performed CPR on Nisha in the middle of the highway. Her small body jerked with each compression, but her brain had already been deprived of oxygen for too long. At 8:32 a.m., paramedics ceased resuscitation efforts. Both girls were declared dead at the scene, victims of their father's fatigue after a night of pursuing bargains. Parking spot. Confrontation. On November 28, 2013, the Walmart parking lot in Tazewell, Virginia, was filled beyond capacity. Shoppers had been arriving since 4 a.m. for the 6 a.m. doorbuster deals. Among them was Christopher Jackson, a 35-year-old coal miner and father of 3, circling the rows in his pickup truck, searching for a space. At 5:47 a.m., Jackson spotted an empty parking spot near the store entrance. As he began to turn into it, a silver Honda driven by Ronnie Sharp, 61, attempted to claim the same space from the opposite direction. Both vehicles stopped, headlights illuminating each other. For 13 seconds, neither driver moved. Security camera footage showed Jackson exiting his vehicle first. He gestured at the parking space, pointing to indicate he had arrived first. Sharp emerged from his Honda, visibly agitated. At 5:48 a.m., the 2 men stood face to face in the empty parking space, surrounded by rows of cars filled with witnesses. Words were exchanged. A witness in a nearby vehicle later reported hearing Sharp say, "I've been waiting for a spot for 20 minutes. Jackson responded, "I was here first." The argument escalated quickly. Sharp returned to his vehicle and retrieved something from the glove compartment. When Sharp turned around, he was holding a folding knife with a 3-inch blade. Jackson backed away, hands raised. Sharp advanced, slashing downward. The knife caught Jackson's left forearm, cutting through his jacket and slicing deeply into the muscle. Blood immediately soaked his sleeve. Jackson retreated to his truck, pressing his right hand against the wound. Sharp followed, still brandishing the knife. Instead of driving away, Jackson reached behind the seat of his pickup and pulled out an unloaded .30-30 Winchester rifle. Witnesses described the scene as surreal. 2 men confronting each other with weapons at dawn in a Walmart parking lot, all over a parking space 20 feet from the entrance. Jackson pointed the unloaded rifle at Sharp, who froze momentarily before lunging forward with the knife. The second slash caught Jackson across the neck, severing his carotid artery. Blood spurted in a high arc, spattering across 3 parked cars. Jackson fired the unloaded rifle, producing only a metallic click. He collapsed against his truck, rifle clattering to the asphalt. Sharp stood motionless, knife in hand, as Jackson bled out in seconds. Store security reached the scene at 5:52 a.m. By then, Christopher Jackson had lost over 2 liters of blood. Paramedics attempted to close the wound, but the arterial damage was catastrophic. At 6:17 a.m., as shoppers streamed past the cordoned-off crime scene heading for discounted electronics, Jackson was pronounced dead.